Are you
Good
ready to start our
afternoon,
period
Musa.
for today? Yes, hi. Our selection for today is Where is Here by Joyce Carol Oates. Maybe it's not the first time to hear this name, Joyce Carol Oates, because it's a magnificent writer. Um, you like her writings. Whenever you read this selection, you're going to search for another literary excerpt for her. Actually, I got the movie of this selection, so I'm going to upload the link to you by the end of this period. Okay, but now let's discuss some elements or some points about this selection. First of all, Joyce Carol Oates. She's actually born in 1937 and she is still alive. And by the way, she's still writing. She began writing in her early years. She was just a little girl at this time. She was 14 years old when she started writing her first um, excerpt. This was because she received a typewriter as a gift from her father. So what happened is she wanted to use it. She thought what to do with the typewriter. She wants to do something useful using this typewriter. And it was the first step for Carol Oates to write down literary excerpts. In 1960, she graduated from her classroom in Syracuse University, and she's a professor right now in Princeton University. She's interested in Gothic literature. I'm not gonna say she's like Edgar Allan Poe because actually Edgar Allan Poe to Joyce Oates is a godfather. She is trying to follow him in his writing. And by the way, it's not just Gothic writing that Carol Oates is interested in. She is she writes in different styles and different genres. This is what makes her distinctive. She's brilliant. She's magnificent because actually you may find a lot of writers. We are classifying them as perfect writers, but they only wrote using one style and one genre, and they say this is my peculiar or this is my major. But as for Carol Oates, it's totally different because she could write in different genres and styles. Her writing often combined the small matters of everyday life with violence and horror. And when we are saying violence and horror here, we are talking about what? Brilliant. About Gothic literature. Okay? This is what we can say about Joyce Carol Oates in conclusion. Where is here? When someone comes to your door someday and say, can I get in? You don't know this guy. He seems to be shrouded. So when you see him and he asks for permission to get in your house, you're going to say to him what? Can you suggest a sentence or a phrase to
Who are
say to
you?
this person?
Who are you?
Who are you? Yes, who are you? This could be. That's right. And you may say something else. You may say, here, to come in here. Where's here? Who's that? So I guess this is what happens here in this selection. Where's here? Who are you? To sum up, Joyce Carol Oates' short story Where's Here is set on a quiet residential street just before dinner time on a chilly November evening. I mean by chilly, a very cold evening in the month of November. The father in the street answers the door to a stranger who says, a stranger says, he lived in the house when he was a child many years before. The stranger asks if he might look around outside for a while. The father watches him from a window, but the mother invites the stranger into the house. It's just one word. Why don't you come in? And the stranger sees the moment. In no time, he entered the house because he wanted this. As he goes from room to room, the stranger is amazed by the change, but seemed equally astonished by parts of the house that have not changed at all. The visit becomes awkward, strange, I mean, peculiar, when the stranger stays too long and slowly inspects everything in each room. Well, actually, before completing this summary, I want to ask you about the about making a comparison between our Arab society and the American society in here. Well, as for us, when a stranger or a guest comes to our doors, even we don't know this guy, what are we going to do? Are you going to welcome him?
Know him first.
Yeah, that's okay. How's that? What's your name? Where are you from? Why
Yes.
don't you come in to have a hot meal and a drink? Because actually Arabs are honorable. So what happens in here? No problem at all with our Arabic society for a guest to come in, to sleep for a night, to have hot meals, to have drinks. But for the Americans, they suspect this guy saying, is he insane? Is he a burglar, a thief, a killer? Is he going to hurt us? We don't know, but it's a disaster. Actually, it's a risk to make this guy come in. We can make him come in. They may say this. We make him come in, but not for so long as Arabs do. And the difference in here is, as I told you, we are Arabs. We are not making risks for ourselves or for families, but we are honorable. So that's why we're going to tell him, no problem at all. Come in, have your meal, have your drink. So when that happens, the stranger walks upstairs and goes directly to the son's room, the stranger's old room, where he introduced himself to the son and looks around. While still in the son's room, the stranger throws a complex and mysterious mathematical riddle, telling the boy that he can surprise his teacher with it. After several more minutes, the father finally tells the stranger that it's time to go. The stranger is gone. The family and the home seem to have changed. So, what do you think of the stranger here? Whom do you think this guy is? You think he is the, yeah, is the old owner for this house, really? Do you think this? Or you think he is a burglar? Or what do you think? I want you to guess. I know I didn't give you any clues to know who is that guy or what is the character revealed to be. But I want you to try to guess.
I think he's the last owner of the house.
The last owner, yes. So you trust this guy. She believed him, so you trust him. He's just a stranger who came by the door, asked for just to remember his old days in that house, which he owned it someday. So you think this?
Maybe their new neighborhood.
A new neighborhood. This could be. Who else? Who can guess another guessing? Can you guess? Well, actually, after we read for some time, you may find a guessing, strange guessing, which is this guy actually is not a human being. This guy could be something like a ghost or spirit who lived in this house once upon a time. So when you acknowledge this, you got to know that we've got horror and panic atmosphere. So that's why here we are discussing Gothic literature, because these are some of the Gothic literature elements. Okay,
Mr. He is human or no?
is what?
He is human or no?
I guess no. I guess this person could be something like a ghost. He used to be in this house for some time. That's why we're going to be scared. This is, as I told you, some of the this is one of the elements of Gothic literature. Okay, fine. Will you get me page number 68 in your My Perspective book?
I haven't the
Yes,
book.
yes. I open here now.
Yeah. If someone of you does not have, sorry, if any one of you does not have his book, just tell me. I can share the um,
Me, I
the
have it.
PDF file. Have you got it? All of you,
I have.
100%.
I haven't.
That's great. Anyway, I shared the PDF for you. It's the book in soft copy. Well, we are going to discuss. Okay. Excuse me, guys, for just a minute. Yes. Inshallah. Sorry, guys, for interruption. Once again, we are going to discuss the vocabulary, the new vocabulary in this selection. And our first word in here is gregarious. The second one is amiably. And the third one is stoical. So, guys, um, I want you to make use of every word, of every page in your blog. That's why by the end of our My Perspective blog, you're going to find a glossary. It contains the new vocabulary in all this book. So if you are going to check your glossary, you're going to find the meaning of these words. So please, right now, I want you to check and tell me what is the meaning of the first word, gregarious. I'm going to help you somehow. Our
Mr. Where
glossary,
in the last?
yeah, it's page R36.
30.
R, yes, 36. And don't muddle up
Yes.
because you may find the same glossary repeated on R40, but actually there is a difference, which is the R36 is English glossary, but as for R40, it's English Spanish dictionary. Okay, so don't use the Spanish one because you cannot understand the Spanish
I
language.
find this.
Yeah, that's great. Forget about R40 and let it be R36. Okay.
Gregarious.
Yes. What does this word mean?
Sociable.
That's right.
Or
Someone who
public. Or public.
communes. Yes. Someone who likes to go out with friends and family. Someone who is sociable, who is commune. All right. Well, it's the opposite of introvert. It's the opposite or the antonym of the word introvert. Uh, okay. So how can you use this word in a sentence of his own? Okay. Well, example for mine, I can say my friend actually likes to have a lot of friends because he is gregarious. You can say to be a successful man, you have to be gregarious. Ali is
We can
gregarious.
say he is
Yes,
a gregarious person.
yes. That man is a gregarious person. Yes, why not? The mayor in the city is a gregarious person. That's great. That's magnificent. So, what do you think of the word gregarious?
Mr.
Which part? Yes,
Naif Jade is waiting in the.
Naif. I don't have
Yes,
any alert for him. I should have an alert.
he texts me.
So where's he? I cannot find him. I don't have anyone right now in the waiting lobby. So how can I accept him? Tell him
Maybe
to
he don't
re
come. Okay.
yes.
Okay, now wait.
Tell him to rejoin because actually I don't have any notifications that someone wants to join us. So oh yes, we're here. What part of speech is the word gregarious? I mean, part of speech is this word verb, adjective, adverb.
Adjective.
Uh,
Adjective.
yes, it's an adjective. Thank you. The next word, amiably. What do you think of the meaning of this word?
Friendly.
Yes, friendly, decently. That's right. Stoical. What's the meaning of the word stoical? Check your glossary and tell me. It's not a big problem. What can the dictionary say about this word? Stoical.
I find Mr.
Yes,
Keeping strong emotions in check.
yes. Somebody who is calm, simply, is stoical. Okay. Our big problem actually while we are reading texts or books in English is that we find a lot of new words. We don't know the meaning of these words. So we muddle up. We don't know the meaning of the whole sentence. If just we have maybe a new word, suppose that it's not just one new word, it's 3 or 5 words. So I don't want you to panic. Uh, Even you are in the SAT reading exam, don't worry because we will give you some clues in order to understand the difficult words or the unknown words. Today, inshallah, I'm going to give you some tips for this. When you follow my tips, believe me, it's going to be more easier for you. So here, search for the synonym of the word. I mean by the synonym, words with the same meaning. When you've got a word, well, this could be, for example, a jargon. Uh, it's a specialized word. So you don't know this word. Okay, read the sentence. The recent dearth of milk has resulted in a shortage of other dairy products. The word dearth in here, you don't know its meaning. It's the first time to see it, so it's unknown word. How could you know the meaning of this word, dearth? Simply, when you read the rest of the sentence, you're going to find a shortage is a shortage of. In the shortage of is the same meaning to the word dearth of. So the lesson, dearth of milk, means the shortage of milk. So in here, I could get the meaning of this word. How? When I get the synonym of this word, it's no longer a noun. You've got the meaning of this word. So the claw in here, you're going to find the claw in here in the same sentence. So don't panic, simply, you've got the meaning of this word. Naif Al-Gaidi now joined us. Hello, Naif. Well, another advice for you, elaborate the details. When you don't know the word, it's a jargon or some kind of a jargon. So the author actually, or the writer, wants you to follow him. He is not going to drive a stumbling block and let you stuck and say, I don't understand this writer. He writes something like vague texts. So how can I understand this guy? How can I read the excerpts or the essays or the stories he writes? I'm not going to read to this writer because he writes something like what? I don't know.
Complicated.
Yes, it's a vague text actually. So what? Well, he is trying to just maybe is trying to learn you one of the new vocabularies. Maybe he is trying to just show off. He's going to uh, say that I know this language more than anyone. I'm somebody uh, who has a great culture with this language. But actually, at the same time, I want everyone to read to me. I don't want anyone to say, I don't understand. So that's why he's going to explain his jargons or his new vocabulary. So after he writes the word, he uses a comma and he is elaborating or illustrating the meaning of this word. Okay, an example for this. During her campaign, the senator was positively monomaniacal. You can say what? What? Monomaniacal. And what's that? What does this word mean? Speaking passionately about one issue and one issue only. So this is the meaning simply for this word, monomaniacal, which which means what? Interested in one thing. This is what the writer did in here. And don't panic and say, I don't know the meaning of this word, so how can I understand this paragraph or this sentence at least? So simply, I'm telling you that try to follow reading and you'll get a clue for this word. Here, the writer illustrated or elaborated the meaning of this word. Okay, another advice for you, contrast of ideas. Sometimes you're going to find the opposite of the unknown words in the same sentence or in the same paragraph. So that's why read the paragraph till the end and you'll get the clue of the meaning of this unknown word. For example, the shallowness of the second speech made the profundity of the first even more evident. So someone may say, what? Profundity? What does this word mean? Well, if you don't know the meaning and you know the opposite, well, if you know the opposite of the word, so you know the meaning of the word. So the word profundity in here is the opposite of the word shallowness, which means I've got the contrast of ideas. So here I could know the profundity meaning through knowing that the word shallowness is the opposite of this word. That's why this is another clue to give the meaning of the new word. Okay, have you got the point? I don't want vocabulary to be a stumbling block in your learning or in your exams, because actually we are giving a lot of tips in order to give the meaning or be close to the correct meaning of new vocabulary or unknown words. Before we say that, we can get the root of the word. You forget about this, the prefixes and the suffixes. And when we get the root of the word and we know the meaning of this root, so simply after adding a prefix or a suffix or both, we may simply get the meaning of this word. So we've got a lot of tips. Step by step, inshallah, we're going to have a lot of advice or tips in order to follow to get the meaning of unknown words, which are not going to be a stumbling block to you. Okay, let's try to memorize them, please. If you understand, tell me to in order to move to other slide in the
Yes,
web
understand.
PowerPoint. Yes, great. All of you, 100% of you, understandable. You are simply saying, how can you know the meaning of unknown words? How come? You are not allowed in the exams to carry or to have a dictionary. When you find a lot of new vocabulary or unknown vocabulary you don't know, don't panic and use our tips. You're going to get a clue. You're going to get clues. These clues will help you understand the meaning of these words. So no problem. Don't panic. This is my advice to you. The setting of this selection actually a quiet residential neighborhood on a November evening. It was a chilly November evening. I mean, it was a very cold night. Okay. The genre of this selection is Gothic literature. How can you prove this? How can you prove that this is Gothic literature? When when the elements of Gothic literature is there, I mean, is available. So it could be our clue to say that this is Gothic literature. So simply, you're going to ask me, so what are the elements of Gothic literature? And the answer is bleak setting. I mean by bleak, gloomy setting, violent incidents, characters in psychological torment, supernatural elements, strong language. Somebody may say, "Oh, I can understand most of these elements, but what about the supernatural elements? What it could be?" Guess and tell me, supernatural elements like what?
Like the last story where the ghost come. Not last story.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Supernatural
House of
elements
Usher.
like, yes, like ghosts. When you find ghosts in the selection, so this is supernatural elements. When you find what? When you find angels, when you find fairies, uh, a fairy with a magic wand. These are supernatural elements. That's right. The theme of this selection is violence and uncertainty. Well, the characters actually, after the stranger left, trying to discuss what happened. They they can see or they can feel something strange happened in their house. They don't know what's this, but they feel that there is some kind of change. It's the first time to quarrel. So what happened? What happened in here is a stranger affected the place. So they suspected that it was not a human being and it was a ghost. So are they certain if this man is a ghost? My answer is no. He could be. He could be a human being, but a strange one. He could be a ghost. They are not certain. So that's why our theme here is violence and uncertainty. The mood in here is anger and abuse. The father in the story is angry because somebody he doesn't know wants to enter his house, and he abuses. He is asking for more time. I said he just wants to have a look on the garden or in the backyard. What happened? What happened after this? He tried to enter um, every room in this house. This is some kind of abuse to um, to the exception the father made to this stranger. So, guys, if you don't mind, we're going to read first the background about the author Joyce Carol Oates. Actually, she was born in 1937 and she's still alive. She began writing novels at the age of 14 when she received a typewriter as a gift, and in 1960 she graduated first in her class from Syracuse University. Also teaches at Princeton University. He is famous for having wide ranges interests. She has written novels, short stories, poetry, plays, and essays in many different styles and genres. Her writing often combines the small matters of everyday life with violence and horrors. If you don't mind, I want you to get page number 69. Page number 69.
Yes, I open.
Yes, great. We still have 2 minutes in this period. So we're just going to read the background. Yeah, you. The novels of Anne Radcliffe, an English writer, and the short stories of Edgar Allan Poe inspired Joyce Carol Oates to write Gothic literature. So in here we've got big names actually in writing Gothic literature, Anne Radcliffe and Edgar Allan Poe. She was affected by both. They were her godfathers in writing Gothic literature. Horror is a fact of life, she said. As a writer, I'm fascinated by all facets of life. In this story, Oates highlights the uncertainty and potential danger that lurk under the surface of everyday events. Okay? So, what are we going to do right now is we're going to quit this period and start the next one. Don't be late for me, please. I'm waiting for you in the next room for the next period, which starts now actually. So it's just 5 minutes in order to rejoin, and we are going to start our last period for today. So please join out and join in again.
Okay, Mr.
Assalamu alaikum.